Hello crochet friends, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia and I am bringing you another really fun, really cool crochet wearable. And this one is the Fast and Easy crochet pullover top with granny square sleeves. Because I am using this multicolor yarn, which happens to be Super Saver Jumbo. The color is Starburst print. It's a number 4 medium weight. But because I'm using this multicolor, the granny square on this project does not look like your typical granny square, although we make it exactly the same. The only difference is, rather than change colors on every row as you might do, I'm just using this where I can just keep creating the square without having to stop, tie off one color, bring in the next color, tie in all those ends. Oh, I can't stand to do that. So I thought, okay, let's try this. And the look is quite a bit different from your traditional granny square, although it's the same exact granny square. And it still looks absolutely adorable. Don't you agree? Let me know in the comments below if you would rather have the traditional changing of the colors on every row, or if you're good to go with this idea. And for the body, I'm using I Love This yarn, and this one is sport weight. So this one is a number 3, this one is a number 4. No big deal, because the granny squares, of course, are separate on the sleeves, and it's okay. It's not going to make any huge difference that we've got different weight yarns going on here. So in addition to the yarn, we're going to need scissors. The crochet hook is a G, or 4.25 millimeter, and the yarn needle. Let's get started. Now this tutorial is going to be for a size medium. For different sizes, head over to crazycoolcrochet.com, where I will have the written instructions for additional sizes. And don't forget, you can also get the printable pattern at my Etsy shop. I will leave links for both locations in the white space below the video. You do have to open that up manually. Okay, now I'm just going to work with a swatch here. So for only the first row only, we're going to work single crochets in the back loop only. Okay, so in the second chain from the hook. So don't count the loop on the hook. There's the first one, there's the second one. So you want to just turn the chain over a little bit. Can you see those bumps in the back? Turn it over. The first one is always the trickiest, trying to get in there. Regular single crochet. See, now you can just see those bumps just popping right out at you. Okay, so now you will be working across the entire chain, which, by the way, is 71 chains for the medium. Did I forget to mention that? That's kind of important, isn't it? 71 chains. And then if you're working a single crochet in each chain across, you will end up with 70 single crochets. Okay, so work all the way across. When you get to the end, chain 1 and turn. Now for the remainder of the panel, and by the way, you're doing 2 identical panels. We're going to work with the extended single crochet, which is so easy and so much more interesting than just the plain old single crochet. Okay, so all you do, and we start in the very first space. Pull up your loop for 2 loops on the hook. Pull through the first loop. And you still have 2 loops on the hook. Pull through the last 2. That's an extended single crochet. See, 2 loops, pull through 1, pull through 2. And you will do that in each space across, so you end up with 70 extended single crochets. When you get to the end, chain 1 turn and repeat. And that's it for the entire panel. Very easy. Now, working with the extended single crochet, you get a nice texture, and it's a closed stitch, but it's not a tight closed stitch like you would get with all single crochets. That would be more tight, and this way you get a little bit of an airiness. It helps also with the drape, and you can still, however, wear this with nothing underneath, meaning, not another tank top or a cami or whatever, but it's still nice and airy. So you will work your panel for a total of 59 rows. Now, if you prefer a longer top, just keep adding rows. Now let's work on our granny square. So this one has 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the multicolor, and then a last row in the main color. And this ties everything in with the body. So again, I'm doing it this way with the multicolor just because that way I'm able to work much faster. There's so much less weaving in of the tails at the end. Okay, so now we start with a chain of 3. Let's insert the hook into the first chain. We're going to do a slip stitch to form a ring. Chain 3. That counts as a double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 more double crochets into the center of the ring. Now chain 2. We're going to do 3 double crochets into the ring, and you are bringing the tail around and incorporating it into your stitches. And now chain 2. So what we're doing is forming our 4 corners. Now 3 more double crochets. Chain 2. And then one last time with 3 double crochets. And then chain 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. Now we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 3. Chain 3. And again, that's your first double crochet. So now into the space to the right of it, 2, whoops, 2 double crochets. Now skip over to the chain 2 space for 3 double crochets. So again, we're forming the corner. Chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. Skip over to the next chain 2 space and repeat that. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. And now repeat that into the next chain 2 space. Now we're back where we started. So we've got that first set of 3 double crochets. Now we need to enter that second set of 3 double crochets. Chain 2, and now we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain 3 and chain 3. And that's it. So now we're going to repeat. So this time what we do is we enter 3 double crochets into the next space. And then go over to your corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Then 3 double crochets into the space, and then form your corner. 3 double crochets into the space, form your corner until you get back to where we started. And then we'll do that last set of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and join with a slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain 3. And then we will repeat that for the next row. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 rows to form the granny square in the multicolor. Now if you do want to go with the traditional changing colors, this is a headband I made with the granny squares. So here I started with the yellow, then I cut off the yarn, attached the lavender, cut off the yarn, attached the peach, cut off the yarn, attached the cream. So you can do that if you want your squares to look more like that. So now when you complete your 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you can tie off the yarn. You can then attach the blue and just do the exact same thing, same pattern in the blue. Now we are going to put our granny squares together, and we need 4 per sleeve for the size medium. So we are going to seam along the edges. We'll start in the corner stitches. So bring your yarn needle through that center corner stitch, leave a tail, and you're going from underneath on both sides or both squares. Now what I like to do to keep these seams nice and flat, because you don't want a buckled up seam, is just go through 1 strand of each chain. So you can see the chains right there. So use the strand closest to the outside. And try to keep your double crochets together. That will just give you a neater finished product. So that's it. Just go through 1 strand on each square. Go all the way up to the corner. When you get to the corner, just go ahead and tie it off. Now we are going to put the 2 panels together at the shoulders, and we want right sides on the inside. Right sides are touching each other, wrong side is out. And here is how we can tell. This is the right side. This is the tail from the foundation chain. So that makes that the right side. And we're working on the shoulder. I like to leave about an 8 or 9 inch opening. You decide how wide you want your neck opening. And then put yourself a little stitch marker. So we're going to seam from the edge to the stitch marker. So with the yarn needle, length of yarn, starting into the cornermost stitch, on each panel, go under 2 strands this time. Leave a tail. And I just use a simple whip stitch. So you're just going around and around. So just keep seaming until you get to that stitch marker. And then do the same on the other side. And now we're going to attach the sleeves to the body. So we're still wrong side up. And then you take your squares, your granny squares, also wrong side up. We're going to attach along the side here. So the edge of the body with the edge of the granny squares. We're using the same whip stitch. And you just want to center the squares with the shoulder. And then start seaming right along there. And then do the other side. Now we are going to seam the side and under the sleeve. And of course it's still wrong side up. And just again, whip stitch along the edge and then along the sleeve opening. Well, not the opening, underneath. I'm sure you got that. And then the opposite side. And then we'll come back and we'll just do 1 row of single crochet along the neckline just to clean it all up, and we'll be done. Now that we are done seaming the sides and under the sleeves, I'm going to add 1 row of single crochet for a border along the neckline. Now, at this point, you might notice that it looks like my granny squares should have been blocked. I don't block, but I will go back when I'm done with the border and iron. Yes, I iron rather than block. You can block your granny squares if you prefer. Perfectly okay. Now, if you're wondering how in the world do I iron yarn, I've got a video where I actually walk you through the whole process. It's simple. So I will leave a link below, or just go back to my homepage, click where it says videos, and scroll down until you find the one where I'm showing you how to iron your crochet. Now we've got right side facing up. Right side is out. Insert your yarn into the shoulder seam. Leave a tail. Chain 1 to lock it in. And now just do a single crochet in each space. And continue that all the way around. When you come back to where you started, slip stitch into the first stitch, tie it off, and then weave in all your tails. And here is the completed crochet pullover top with granny square sleeves. Now, a couple of last minute suggestions here. Using the 4 squares for each sleeve gives you a super wide sleeve. I did that to make a statement. Crazy Cool Crochet, I have to do crazy designs now and again. So if you prefer a slimmer sleeve, then just use 3 granny squares instead of 4, and you are good to go. So that's it for this project. I hope you come back for the next one. Don't forget, if you would like to leave me a little something in my tip jar, my YouTube tip jar. YouTube now allows viewers to give us a thanks by way of a little monetary donation. So down below the video in the white space, you will see a heart that says thanks. So if you click on that, you are free to throw in a couple dollars in the tip jar. That would be so helpful. I appreciate you guys so much for that. And again, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.